Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this amazing planet of ours. And I want to wish everybody in the United States a happy Independence Day, even under the conditions to which we are celebrating the independence that we gained as a nation from a monarchy that we decided we no longer wanted to have ties with due to, funny enough, taxation is a big one, the biggest reason for the break with the royals in Britain. Um, I'm wearing black today. I'm in all black. It is a somber day. It's kind of exciting because we are alive to see a transition, a shift in the way people are thinking and feeling about one another. And it's a good thing. And we're finally seeing those things that, um, well, for about a lack of better terminology, the words that are going around now, you might have heard this out there, but the shadows, confronting our shadows, those things that we desperately don't want people to know about us, the things that are ugly to look at. And we're not only experiencing that on an individual level, we're also experiencing that on a global level, national level, global level. And of course, all of it matters. We're seeing tremendous disregard for human beings and life. One of the things that I've been talking about with several different people is the way that certain political leaders have manipulated the whole idea of being pro-life. Even some of my fellow citizens, they talk about being pro-life, and yet they have no problem with a child that's got cancer or leukemia being taken out of a situation where they're being treated and put them in a cell somewhere they don't know by themselves. And when you can say that a life can be lost due to being an illegal person in your community, you're not pro-life. If you say another human life is not valuable enough to save, you are not pro-life. Supporting the big beautiful bill, you are not pro-life. You are for ending life because that bill is going to end lives, whether you like it or not. Poor people are not lazy. They are some of the hardest working people I've ever seen in my life. I've seen people with money that are the most lazy people, but money through channels of familial family channels, by knowing the right people in the right place, access to opportunities because of that. And um, it's disheartening. It took me a long time to go to sleep last night. I was reading the big bill. It's not beautiful. It's disgusting. It is hatred on paper. It is hatred for anybody that isn't like them. It's a war against people of color. It's a war against people who are poor. And it's a war against women. These men, if that's what you want to call them, they're cowards. I don't even want to say his name, but Donald J. Trump, is a coward. JD Vance is a coward. Elon Musk is a coward. They're all cowards. Not one of them would be able to hold their own out on the street, having to navigate life day to day the way that the majority of us do. They will never be without the things that they need, so they don't have to care. So they don't. One of the things that's really important to me is for all people to be seen. On the Supreme Court, eaves on the outside of the building, engraved, and I remember standing at the Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. back in 2015. And I looked up and I was in awe of the fact that engraved in the building is equal protection under the law. We don't have equal protection. We don't even have lawfulness right now. We have criminals running our country, people who are more than happy to be as lawless as they can be. They are going to sell lies. I am a person who is deeply affected by the cuts that are present in the bill. And one thing that I'm glad for is that a lot of this stuff doesn't take effect until next year, which also gives us an opportunity. There's the midterm election. All 435 seats of the House of Representatives are up. They all have to work to keep their seat or lose it to better candidates that will stand up for the oath of office they took, which, by the way, not standing up for the oath of office is an offense. It is illegal. They can be charged with a crime. They can be fined and they can go to jail. The problem is none of us are holding them accountable. We do have power. And that's the one thing that's really, really angering me right now is, well, all of it's angering me. And that's what keeps me in the process of talking with people. And I listen a lot, as it's important to hear the people that voted for Trump that are now realizing, wait a minute, that's not what we voted for. I understand you were looking for somebody to give you a level of security that other people can't provide. Security comes from within. It's knowing that you're a good human being. It's knowing that you're doing everything you can to support yourself, sometimes your family. Every single human being deserves a roof over their head, food in their mouths, uh, health, and the right to pursue happiness. And right now we have an administration that doesn't believe that we that are in the 98%, at this point, it's about 99% of the people that don't have that level of money. We don't deserve these things. Is one of the things that I've heard my whole life is you're not trying hard enough. Well, until you've actually walked in my shoes, you don't know how hard I've tried. I've got 3 college degrees that have done me no good. I bought into the big lie. And part of the way through my second degree, I started questioning, is this really where I should be? Is this really gonna pay off? Every single person in my life said, yes, stick with it. Doesn't matter what kind of a degree you have. As long as you have one, you can get a job, any job. Well, that hasn't been true. As a matter of fact, if I wasn't overqualified, I didn't have the experience. And I hate to share this, but the fact of the matter is the real world does not see or validate work study that you do in college. Not unless it's with a certain group of people and you manage to get in with that group of people and get hired on with them at the end. But having those levels of experience through work study, it doesn't matter. I was a housewife for 31 years, and what they looked at, I didn't work. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances as to why that was, some of it health related. And I was told, you have no experience. I even got a master's degree in legal studies with an emphasis in constitutional law. Did I poured everything into it. I came out in the top 4% of my class, honors from two high honor societies, Golden Key, ABK, and it didn't do me any good. I had people in the law field that were like, you have everything you need to be a legal assistant. You have everything you could need to be a paralegal. Why are you not doing this? I said, because nobody will give me an opportunity. And that is something they don't package in a college education. They don't teach you how to do a lot of things, but they also don't tell you that it doesn't matter how many degrees you get. If you're not one of them, the opportunities are rare. I won't say that there aren't opportunities. There have been some opportunities, and I've learned by taking a couple of them. And what I learned was that women make less money, women are treated less than men in consideration for anything. And I'm bringing that up because this all matters. In the Medicaid bill is an attack on hospitals or clinics that receive any kind of funding that have helped women with abortions. And that can even, well, that definition is obviously up to them, which was supposed to be left up to the states. But if the federal government's going to step in and say, oh, well, you've done that with women, where you've delivered a baby early so that the mom can survive and the baby has a better chance of survival, or they had to take the baby and the baby couldn't survive, but it was to save the mother's life. That's not murder. I don't care how you try to spin it, that's not murder. That's what we do to help human beings survive. Again, these are people that use pro-life as a way to control. These people are cowards. Every single one of them, the women, the men, every one of those Republicans that voted for that bill, every single one of those people that support Donald Trump on that bill are not pro-life. And I've had to sit with a lot of what I was reading last night in that bill. Yes, there are some good provisions. There's some breaks for some people in Social Security, but guess what? It's for the high-end earners, not for the typical person in Social Security. There's a tax break for the parents of children. There's some very sticky points there, and it expires in 2028. In 2026, we have an opportunity to rein in a lot of this out of control lawlessness. because of that election that's coming up. There's 33 seats in the Senate as well. I do provide a caution that we pay attention to who it is that we're electing. Let's do a better job at vetting who the people are that are going into these positions of an elected official that's going to write laws and policies for our nation. I know we're not all going to get along. Yet I know that we've got to come together and we've got to find those things that we can find common ground on. Nobody should be denied life. Nobody should be denied the right to housing. Nobody should be denied the right to a job. Does it mean that everybody's going to come out at the same level? No. Some people are very content with the minimal. Some people are not content until they get as much as they can get. In this country, we used to support the idea that everybody could have a little bit of what they want. I know it's been missing for a long time. Opportunity, access to opportunity is a big one. Now, these folks also said in their bill that they want people, able-bodied people, to work. I'm going to give you an example. Again, this is directly affecting me in my life. My spouse, he's been trying to find work for 3 years. We're in a very tiny community with a very specified field of work, and a lot of the businesses have closed. So there's not a lot of work for the average person. He doesn't have a driver's license, and he can't readily get one. So it's prohibitive to him having a job. I live in the mountains, and that requires you to have a vehicle. Well, we don't have public transportation, and we have, I'm going to say it, a half-ass system. It's very tiny. It does a very tiny job. It doesn't do a very good a job at that. And there is nothing that takes us outside of our area. So we don't have a connection to any towns that have trains or buses or anything that can help us in these endeavors that, some people take for granted. It's cars. Well, now cars are so expensive. Cars and houses are priced out of most people's lives. I wasn't sure what I was going to say when I came on today. I just know that I'm angry and I'm sad because I really thought people had moved enough into the realm of seeing each other, truly seeing each other, seeing us as people. We all have skin, we all bleed, we all feel, we have emotions, we want families, we want to live, we want to have fun, we want to, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Free to be who we are. Hell, every day we're told, oh, go out there and be the best version of yourself you can be. And that's not really possible when you have a system that disregards that. When they see that what the rest of you are doing isn't getting them enough. Because these people are so short-sighted. Our dollar has dropped the most since 1973. And that's going to affect all of us again because it influences whether or not other countries do business with us, whether or not they lend us money. And it's all part of being together on a planet. being xenophobic, the fear of all the other people around you because of color of their skin, or because of the color of their hair, or because the size of their body, or because they choose to live differently than you, is absurd. I've finally come into understanding what unconditional love is. My children were the first to teach me that. My grandchildren were the second. And I learned how to love myself through the experiences I've had in life. And there have been cheerleaders. And then I recognize that there's a lot of people out there that are extremely judgmental. And I'm going to call it out. I've seen some really ugly words and hate come from Democrats as much as Republicans. And what is the hate for younger people? I'm going to bring that up because it's absolutely imperative our younger people step into the roles that these people are aging out of. And yet the people that are older are pushing the younger people aside and saying, hey, sit down, be quiet. We'll let you know when we're ready to let you in. Well, guess what? When I turned 18 and I voted the first time, I was ready then. The first thing I did was look around and go, wait a minute, there's nobody representing the younger people. We need more younger people in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, and potentially running for president. If anything, we should have a cap on how old you can be in certain offices and how long you can stay in some of these offices. Now, I know this is going to be an extremely unpopular thing to say, and I'm okay with that. When I was running for state senator in Nevada, I'm currently in California, and that's because COVID derailed my plans at that time. I have been asked to run for office again. I would love to run for office again. I'm an independent. I think for myself. I look at what people, what their character is, what they've done in the past to help people in the positions of, different elected things and different community things, because it often starts with volunteerism and things of that nature. A lot of people go in with good intent. Then the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, begin to meddle with that integrity. Now, I'm going to call each and every single person out that's in office and say, that integrity is yours to keep. Even if somebody's threatening you. And I know Donald J. Trump is going around threatening all of these people, which is disgusting. Because if I were threatening a federal judge, I'd be in prison right now. Any of the people walking around on the streets, and I don't care what's next to your name. I don't care what the color of you are. You would be in prison for doing exactly all the things that these people are doing. I also want to call out the government on your little ISIS ICE people. They need to be clearly marked. That's bullshit. And I want to say, fuck you for your little terrorists that are lawless and deserve nothing less than life imprisonment for what they are doing right now. They are dangerous people. And when you won't identify who you are, we just had two Democratic leaders in Minnesota assassinated. I'm disgusted. Why aren't people bringing this up more? We shouldn't whitewash it. We shouldn't cover it up and bury it under paperwork and process and the big, beautiful bill that you can burn as far as I'm concerned. I, for one, would like Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, and all of his little cronies to understand one thing. This American will never adhere to anything they tell me to do. Never. Even if that means they take certain things away from me and my health and my life are at risk, I don't care. All of the people that have been on this continent, including the Native Americans, which our government also wants to disregard. And a lot of people want to disregard the African Americans, and I'm going to say Black people as well, because I know not everybody that's, dark skin is from Africa. I want to acknowledge everybody. That's why I focus on people being people. I care. I care about your happiness. I care about your health. I care about whether you have the right to pursue your life. I can love you unconditionally and not condone behavior. And that's one thing that I would really, if I hold something for the world, that would be something that I would like to see for everybody. Having unconditional love for each other enough to respect each other and respect that we're all different. We all have different things that we want in life, and that's what makes it rich. That's what makes it so fun. Think about all the things we've experienced in life, and if everybody was the same, how boring and how um I'm trying to find the word that I'm looking for. I don't know, boring. Like, I'm not sure if it was the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits or Star Trek, but they had that episode where people were all being turned into blonde men, perfectly shaped, perfect, muscular, not too thin, not too thick. And the women were blonde and they had the perfect hourglass figure. And again, not too thin, not too thick. And the lady was supposed to be going in to get her change. And she said, "But I don't want that. What if I don't want that?" And everybody went crazy. "What do you mean you don't want that? You don't want to be like everybody else." Not being alike isn't a bad thing. We wouldn't have the books that we have. We wouldn't have the food that we have. We wouldn't have the architecture we have. We wouldn't have a lot of everything comes from all these different perspectives and all of these different ways of doing things. Look at the food is amazing. Spices from all over the world, food from all over the world, different dishes where we've learned to, enjoy them and share them. Food trucks abound. We come together as a community. Community is stressed right now. And I know this is going to sound cliche, divided we fall, united we stand. Or united we stand, divided you fall. Sometimes I like to say things backwards, but it took me a long time to release the anger I had last night. The sadness is still there. There's a sadness deep in my heart that so many people are living in fear and want control. Fear and control are our enemies. It's not people, it's fear and control. The people in DC are a bundle of fear and making every attempt to control every aspect of everything so that they feel better. Screw everybody else. But as long as they feel good and they have what they need, they're good to go. I've had some people laugh at me because I'm very idealistic. When I was all through my political experiences, which is now, I want to say about, well, 20 years. I've reached about the 20-year mark. It was, 17, 20, right in there. I've had people laugh at me and tell me I'm an idealist because I believe in the inherent good in every person. It doesn't mean that I don't have my moments. I'm not perfect. I'm human. We're all divine beings having a human experience. And there are going to be people that are going to roll their eyes at that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being laughed at. I do believe in unconditional love. I do believe that most people, well, all people, were born inherently good. We have good intentions. It's the experiences through fear and control that mess everything up. And we don't seem to be able to see each other as people who've experienced our own traumas to some degree. That looks different for every person. We have veteran trauma. We have what we call civilian trauma that comes from abuse, rape, car accidents, somebody dying, and a pet dying. There's all kinds of things that can be traumatic for people and cause a great deal of fear and discontent. Not having things, being somebody, maybe they don't experience violence, but they experience housing insecurity. Some of us out here have experienced multiple compound stacking experience of these different things. So we get different levels of trauma and different levels of fear and wanting to control things. And when we learn that control is within ourselves, that when we love ourselves and we love ourselves first, we're able to love others easier. I know that I would like people to say, hey, I don't want you to go without food. I don't want you to miss out on your health. I don't want you to not have a roof over your head. And I recognize that you're not lazy. The opportunities haven't come. So we get back to that. There's a lot of things systemically that I understand people wanting to have control through people that will offer it to you with a hammer, a sledgehammer, a jackhammer, or a 4x4. I'm gonna take all these people out of this country because they're the ones that are taking everything from you. I got news from you, for you, from you and for you. I have been doing a lot of conversations, which is why I haven't been doing a podcast, because I've been out talking with people and learning and listening and understanding that people voted for what they voted for because they were hoping somebody was going to give them more hope, that they were going to get lowered cost of groceries, a better chance at having a home, a better chance at having a job, Unfortunately, the jobs in this country do not pay well. They don't. These corporations make billions and trillions of dollars in profits, and yet people argue that paying us a living wage, the people that are making them those profits, is somehow wrong and detrimental to their well-being. That's really twisted. That's really twisted. And when they have convinced you that you are wrong for asking for a livable wage, when they have convinced you to be afraid to ask for a livable wage, that's injustice. That's injustice. And that's wrong. We all deserve a livable wage. They don't necessarily even have to keep bringing the wages up here, because what they're not doing is they're not bringing the cost of living down. And when you can bring those closer together or match the cost of living and a wage, the people in the corporations, they're still going to make their profits. They're being greedy. And I'm sorry, I do believe in caps on their incomes for the exact reasons we have today. Because for them, it's never going to be enough. If we continuously let them get away with things and continue to take, and be afraid of them, please, we've got to build our fearlessness and demand what is right for people, all people. And I mean all people. This country has always had people that have come in to work. We haven't treated them well. Our ancestors brought people here under really raunchy and bad and disgusting conditions and circumstances, and put them to work at building the country, and then told them, get behind me, get down on your knees, kiss my feet, because you are nothing. That's disgusting. That's wrong. You don't treat human beings that way. And they are human beings. Everybody, all of us, we're all human beings. We may speak different languages. We may believe in different theologies or none at all, which is still okay, because it's all part of learning and understanding with each other. Poverty is man-made. Man can undo that. Human-made. Humans can undo it. I do hope that we can hold a vision for a better world. I put that question out on Facebook. I put that all out there for you now. What kind of a world do you want? What kind of a country do you want? Do you want one that includes all people? Do you want one that thrives and supports people in their endeavor to be happy, healthy, have a home, have some food in their stomach, and live? Because ultimately, that's what we're here to do, to live. We have people committing suicide because they can't handle the life that is what we know right now. And I get it. We have bullies. And again, I'm going to get back to, I've seen it from all different angles. And I'm in speaking with some people from the Democratic side of things, they demand that the people in DC do something about affordable housing, do something for the poor. But then when you bring it to their community to raise the wages, they will also fight against it. I've been watching this play out for 3 years now in different places, longer than that, actually. But and a lot of these arguments that people have, they're so old. The border issue has been an issue since the border was created. I have paperwork from 2008 when I was working with different political groups and people and candidates at the time. The Republicans were using the exact same MO then. Look, the Democratic president is out of control. The border's out of control. The criminals are coming here to kill you and your family and take everything you have. I agree that we don't want murderers. I agree we don't want people that are felons. Donald J. Trump is a felon. I don't want him either. He is a citizen of this country, and unlike him, I wouldn't deport him, but I also wouldn't allow him anywhere near a political office. When you read the Constitution, it makes clear what their intent was. They didn't want people like him in control of the office. And I think one of the things that I would like to do going forward is to kind of help people understand firing the federal agencies, removing all of them. That's not part of the job of president. We have checks and balances for a reason. There's three branches of government to balance it all out. Yes, the president does have some powers. Yes, the Supreme Court does have some power. Their power is to tell you whether or not that bill, that law, or that process stands the muster of the Constitution. Now, we do need some amendments to the Constitution, clearly. We've got work to do. We're a pretty young nation. Take a look at go ahead, Google, please. Google the age of the nations around us. This continent is fairly young, but Mexico is not. South America, Europe, those are places that our ancestors came from. And a lot of them were sent here because they were not desirable in their own countries anymore. A lot of them came here because it was overcrowded in Europe at the time. And they were looking for opportunity. There's the land of opportunity. That's one of our monikers. America, the land of opportunity. And here I am talking about how unless you're part of the 1%, the opportunities are rare. I won't say that they're not out there. Yes, we can make our way to a degree. Yes, we want to keep our dreams alive. Yes, we want to build. I do believe in people, and I don't care if people want to laugh at me about that. I don't care if people want to ridicule me. I don't care if people want to cut me off for the things that I say. Because the fact of the matter is, we've got to come together. And I do believe in a global community that can be supportive of all people. I believe in the Declaration of Human Rights. Thank you, Eleanor Roosevelt. Post-World War II, designed to remind people of the ills from World War II and World War I. It was you know, we have our own conflict. We had our Civil War, but it was never really settled. And there's a lot of people who still talk about the fact that they want another go at it. They want another Civil War because they want to do their part to take control. What I would like to see is more people that are willing to do the right thing in office. And then I'm going to finish this part up with, we also, as citizens, and even as non-citizens, the students, the workers that come to our country to, you know, for their benefit. It's also for our benefit. The farm workers, that's backbreaking work. I can't do it. I couldn't do it if I wanted to, and I've wanted to. It's too physical for me. And I'm so absolutely grateful they're there. Yes, every time I consume fruits and vegetables and even farms, I mean, how often do we respect where things come from? We don't respect each other. We've got to hold our elected officials accountable. The people of the United States, we the people, are the boss, all of us together. We are the boss of Washington, D.C. We are the boss of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. We are the boss of the president. And they have developed a notion that that's not the case, that it's for them, for them. And that's because we gave them the keys. We elect people and we say, all right, go do it. We never talk to them. When I was running for state senator in Nevada, I spoke with a lot of elected officials and I asked them, I bet you get tons of calls and letters every day with people telling you, don't do this or do that. And they said most of them had never even received so much as an email or a phone call. They were just there, which also made it easy for them to be reelected because the people were just like, oh, okay, we didn't hear anything good or bad about you, so we'll just go ahead and let you pass again. That's the fault of the people. We, the people, this is a democratic process that requires our participation to make it work. We need to be the storekeeper. We need to be the boss. We need to say, okay, I need to check the till. Okay, I need to check what each one of you are doing, make sure that you're on track. And when somebody's misbehaving, we need more checks and balances to remove them. I'm still a big fan of recall. We need to be able to recall people. And I'm not talking about impeachment. I'm talking about the power of recall. So we don't have to wait 6 years for a senator to get out. George W. Bush, and I would take him back right now. I protested him because I didn't like him and his policies. But that the power of protest is where one of the powers that we have, one of the rights we have is the power of redress. So the power to speak up, speak out, and as long as we're not the nonviolent is really critical. But we need to be accountable for ourselves to them. We need to keep them accountable to us if we're going to actually make this work. In order to make this work and to build on the grand design of what the forefathers were hoping for. They truly did want freedom for everybody. And they did want religious freedom. They did want religion out of government because they didn't want another Church of England. That was a big deal. I have a book, 1775, A Great Year for a Revolution. I highly recommend reading it. It'll share a lot. I'm celebrating the people of the United States. I'm celebrating all the people who hold the idea that this is the land of opportunity and that one day we will have these opportunities available to all of us, not just some of us. And as women, I'm going to go back to this. As women, we will earn. No, I'm going to retract that statement. We have already earned it. We will gain our autonomy as independent human beings that deserve equal pay for the same job. There's going to be people that'll come at me sideways on that and say, oh, that's not true. Lilly Ledbetter Act. Read about it. Google does have that information. AI has been informed of most of these things because the things that come in and out of the government are public record. They're supposed to be public record. And this is where I will call Joe Biden out. I'm pretty certain, but during his administration, they pulled back the curtain a little more and said, maybe not everything should be public. I disagree. Some people will say, I come from a military family and I respect people in the military, but I do not respect military personnel that will follow an unlawful order. You can go in and actually type in, can military members be held accountable for following unlawful orders? And the answer is yes. They can be tried as traitors. They can be handed a treason. They do have an obligation to our Constitution, even if the president is their commander in chief. There comes a point when they have to say no. Militarizing, as they did in Los Angeles with the Marines against the citizens, that was unlawful. Those are traitors. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off. Too bad. It has to be said. Because if we're going to bend the rules, where does that stop? Donald Trump agrees. Let's bend the rules as far as we can bend them. Hell, let's break them. Let's do away with them. When they want to put you and your children in a little chamber and make you work for them nonstop. This happened in Europe. Hell, it happened here in the United States back during the Industrial Revolution. Ford, yes, Ford Motor Company locked workers in a factory. We don't come from beautiful beginnings, but it's an experiment. And people kept going and they kept pushing forward and saying, you know what? That doesn't work for us. Let's do something different. And they elected new people. And that's always been ugly too. And it's up to us. It's up to us, the people. I want to run for office again. I don't know which one that'll be. I'm of the people, by the people, and for the people. You can still find me on the internet. It was under my previous name, Catana Barnes. Nevada, Phoenix. You can find me. I'm there. I invite you to. You can see what my platform was. I believe that we as workers do have an obligation to respect employers. At the same time, the employers have an obligation to respect the labor. There needs to be mutual understanding of that. There needs to be mutual agreement to that. And abuses from either side doesn't work. At the same time, when people aren't at work, they're not at work. And they owe nothing to their employer other than the time they put in while they're at work. Now, does that mean they should go blabbing secrets to some new device? Absolutely not. That's integrity and that's ethics. And that gets back down to each one of us being having integrity and ethics in our own lives and what we want for ourselves and for others. I know how I want to be treated. And that's really helped me to understand how I want to treat other people. If I want a second chance, why wouldn't I give somebody else a second chance? If I've been through hurts, why wouldn't I recognize that somebody else has dealt with some shit themselves? Most of us have. And that's okay. I would like to extend the fact that I would love to see community come back. I know it'll take time. It would be great if we got to know each other. I know that there's cultural differences, but if we're in the United States and this is what I was told when I was growing up, a melting pot, that's not a bad word. A melting pot means that regardless of our differences, we can still come together. We can have a community where we respect each other all the time and respect ourselves. And it's okay to get angry. It's just not okay to sit with it and stew on it. Recognize that when you get angry, it's because something's making you fearful. Try to figure that out. There are lots of people out here that are more than happy to help you with that. Neighbors, friends, coaches. I'm a coach. I don't like the term coach, but I help guide people with things. I'm a life strategist and I use um, transformational art and wellness strategies to help people get through things that I've been through. So there's lots of us out here that will extend our hand and say, we're here. Hell, if I were to meet somebody in public and they wanted a hug, I tell me, I heard your podcast. I saw your podcast. I saw your post. May I give you a hug or can I receive a hug? I'll give you the best hug you've ever had. I love hugs. Didn't realize how much I needed hugs and how much I really loved them until COVID hit. And when I wasn't able to have that, how much it meant to me and how much I missed it. And I think a lot of people are lost. They don't know where to turn. They don't know where to get help because it right now it's not there. We've gotten so far out of control and so far off track. We've divided ourselves down to the most itty bitty parts. I'm going to call out everybody who's homophobic or transphobic or LGBTQIA plus. And I apologize if I messed up the acronyms. I am still learning them. I have friends that are from all walks of life, and I love them. 4%, 4% of the United States are gay or trans or part of the LGBT community. Why do people fear it so much? because the media plays it up. Be afraid, be very afraid. Look at these awful things these people are doing. That's the last thing that I want to add to this is the media has been manipulating people for a very long time since its inception. There were some really good reporters out there that did have integrity. I miss them. They're gone. Rest in peace. But thank you for leading with integrity and ethics. I took journalism in college. It was my minor. I have an art major. I have an AA degree in art, a bachelor's degree in art, and a master's degree in legal studies. I also went to law school for a very short period of time. When I realized that that was going to be a dead end road because the market is oversaturated, I decided that maybe doing something different with my legal degree would be a better way to. I want to help people. So that was where my mind went, was that I would go out and I would help people with my knowledge. I do. I don't provide advice because that's not my role, but I can guide you to information that will help you. I can help you understand information. Yeah. I hmm, I believe in you. I believe in all of us. I believe that we can come together. And I believe that we can build a better future for our children, for our grandchildren, and for the future people. The environment is important. How we treat the environment is how we treat ourselves because the environment supports our life. Trees, without trees, we would have no oxygen. Without the ocean, we'd have no oxygen. And yet we pollute these, we cut them down, we clear cut. We think this is a great idea. It's sad. We need to care for animals and the environment as much as we care for ourselves. And we need to care and take care of each other. Because I believe that's the ultimate message of what will bring our planet to a better tomorrow. Happy Independence Day to all the people in the United States. Happy Independence Day to the country. No ill will toward any of you at all. I understand. I understand how fear and control, trying to keep some type of control in your life can make you make, can drive you to make choices that aren't so great. I don't hold it against you. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't hold it against you. I reach out to all of you in unconditional love. And I'm going to do everything I can to help everybody understand what's going on because I recognize that there's a big gap in folks understanding the process of our government, primary elections, general elections. What is a primary election? Which is a mess because it's not the same in every state. The general elections, money. Ha! I could go on with that for hours and hours and hours. We do need to get money out of politics. And if this administration isn't a clear picture of why, I don't know what would be. We have lots of examples of that through history. If we're going to have a lawful society, a nation of laws, then we need to adhere to them, because laws are only as good as the people who adhere to them. We need the laws to be distributed equally for all people. How much money you have shouldn't matter. What color your skin is shouldn't matter. What gender you are shouldn't matter. And yeah, I'm saying shouldn't. This is where that applies. Where it doesn't matter. Equal justice under the law. A country, a nation of opportunities, the land of opportunity. Please think about that in ways that we could reach out and potentially give somebody an opportunity. The people who aren't working want to work. In my area here, like I said, my spouse looking for work for 3 years and hasn't been able to find any. He's not the only one. This community is riddled with people who can't find work opportunities. And cutting people down to 4 hours a week is a violation, in my opinion, shouldn't be allowed. We've got to respect each other. We've got to have respect for each other. These corporations make the big bundles they do because of the labor we provide. And again, I say that needs to be respected on both sides. I will do my best to go through the big bill. There's a lot of pages, so I'm not going to print it out, but it will be on my computer. I will read through it. I will do my best to share that information with you to the best of my ability. I also will have other interviews and more takes on the things that are happening, and they're all going to be pretty much with that call to action of please, let's come together. Let's not be divided. I send all of you my love unconditionally. I hope you'll join me. And if you really like what you have heard and what you hear on my channel, please like and share, subscribe, so that we can get the message to more people, because I believe all of our messages are important. All of them are good. Again, happy Independence Day. And I look forward to our next conversation. Bye for now.